Welcome back to Confidently. We are in building block 3, marketing your brand, and we are jumping into beta testing your offers part 1, the L1. Just to remind you, we are working through the Confidently Success Map, achieving progress, not perfection, to market and scale your expert-based business. And we are right here in beta testing your offers. Now, remember, the momentum map is our proprietary process to launch. There are 3 types, L1, L2, and L3, and we are going to deep dive under the L1 in this training. Now, L1 launches are the most critical launch in your sales funnel because you have one chance to make a great impression on the audience that you're looking to attract. And so what you put out there as your discovery program or offer is really important. That's really what the L1 is, okay? It's also known as the irresistible lead magnet, or a freebie or a freemium, an appetizer to the big meal that is your program, or even a pink spoon. And if you don't know what that metaphor is referring to, it's like when you go to Baskin Robbins and they give you a taste of the different ice cream so you can see if you want a whole cone. That's what your L1 launch is. You want it to be as amazing and exciting as a little taste of ice cream, okay? Everybody likes ice cream, even if you're lactose intolerant, okay? So the main thing is that the L1 launch comes through what we call a landing page. And on that landing page, that opt-in page, also called that, you have to have a clear promise and have unsatisfied tension that the audience has that your L1 helps them relieve, okay? So you drive traffic into this landing page, which is your L1. And driving traffic is simply, well, not so simply, but it is what you are either doing organically, paid, or partnership traffic. So people sharing it, or you're paying for, Facebook ads or Instagram ads, and then organic, which is, coming maybe from a media post or from your organic feeds or your email list, right? And that's how you get leads on the other side. And then those leads are given the opportunity to learn how to buy things from you, okay? So let me give you more details under how you can make an L1 great. If you're looking to create fans that turn into paying customers, it starts with that irresistible lead magnet. It's the start of any launch. And most marketers don't call this a launch, but we do on our campus because it's the way people get to experience your aim, your tests, and your use case powerfully if you do it with intention. Now, as I said, a lead magnet is a valuable free or low fee giveaway that you create for your ideal customers. And you give it away in exchange for their name and email address and potentially even more personal information. And the goal is to make your lead magnet so valuable that your audience can't resist signing up to get it. A great L1 makes the decision to invest in your L2 or L3 easy for them to say yes. So here's how to create an irresistible lead magnet. There are 3 steps: your content and offer, your delivery mechanism, and leading with the end in mind. And of these, what I'm really going to deeply go under is asking you to create your delivery mechanism and commit to that. So let's take your L1 easy win and your L1 deep dive offers from the last lesson and filter them through these questions. Now, remember, if you didn't do the last lesson, you're going to need that in order to do this work. So if you didn't, pause this and go back to it. Otherwise, let's go. So first is the content and the offer. The content is the actual L1 itself. Like, what are you going to be giving them? And in order to justify them exchanging their personal information with you, you want to think about what are the top 3 questions you are constantly asked when people find out what you do in your business. These common questions are a perfect starting point to help you start seeing what your audience most needs from you. Next is, what are your audience's pain or desire points? Now, the God honest truth, whether you like it or not, is people respond to relieving pain even more than they do to getting a desire. But you definitely want to look at both sides, because figuring out what keeps them up at night and the obstacles that get in their way will help you understand their needs and become even more valuable to them. We're also going to dive deeply under this in the market research part of the marketing building block. But for now, I want you to brainstorm that so that we can use that as a baseline for the content you're going to create. And then finally, what are a few different gestures that you can offer to your ideal audience that you know they won't be able to pass up? Basically, this is the type of L1 easy offer you chose in the last lesson. So whether that's a checklist or an easy tool or a short PDF of content or even a video, think about the different gestures, and you've already kind of chosen that. But given these questions that you just answered, number one, number two, maybe that shifts it a bit again, and that's okay. We just want to get, by the time we start the launch, that you've made a decision to create it. All right, the next piece is the delivery mechanism. So how does your audience like to consume your content? And if you don't know, ask them. You could post a short survey on social media. Even your personal page is fine. You don't have to worry about, is it your business or your personal page? Just find out, look, I want to know, if I were to give you a video, an audio, or a PDF, which one would you like? Remember, everything we're doing right now is testing. So try a couple. Next, what is the easiest and fastest way to deliver the content? Remember, I mentioned in the last training that you want it to be simple and easy for them to get a quick win. So quick delivery is key. Okay. And finally, what is the most cost-effective platform for you at the stage you are in business? What's most cost-effective may not be what your audience will respond to most. So you want to consider your budget and your audience's needs when deciding on a delivery mechanism. So what I mean by that is, when I say most cost-effective platform, the way you deliver it, whether it's a video or whatever, making sure that it's simple and easy based on where you are. Because if you try to make it too fancy without testing it first, you've wasted a lot of time, energy, and probably money too. So ask yourself, what's the most cost-effective and the fastest to get to market? Finally, your lead magnet should have a path to the end offer you have. For example, I'm going to use one of my L1s to give you an example here. So I mentioned that my L1 deep dive is the consistent and confident challenge. And the delivery mechanism of the consistent and confident challenge are 10 emails, 10 live stream broadcasts, 1 invitation to the L1 deep dive called the Confident Marketing Masterclass, which is a webinar. And that's what I have to do. And those are the steps that I'm going to have to build out as we continue down the marketing building block. Okay. We're going to teach you how to do that in the future, like coming up in future trainings. So don't worry about that. Right now, you just kind of have to chunk out and see what we have to build in order to build this L1. And ultimately, what are you bringing them to, which is your L2 offer. In my case, it was the Confidently program. So now you're going to ask yourself, what is the layout of the L1 marketing plan? And don't finish it yet, because we're going to need to do some market research and insights to validate them first. Right now, I just want you to chunk it out, frame it out, so that when we make changes, we have it set up to do so. So I will show you this based on our sequencing. Okay. So under the L1 Easy Yes, what is your content and offer? For example, is it a quiz? What is the delivery mechanism? So what are the basic steps you're going to take to deliver the quiz to them, and then lead with the end in mind? Does it tie to your L2, L1 offer? And you want to detail each of them out. For your deep dive, content and offer could be a webinar. And then the delivery mechanism is, what are the basic steps chunked out that you would have to build to create the webinar? And does it tie to your L2, L3 offer? And then detail that. Now, your offer itself, or the L2, should have already been established in the messaging building block, so that should already be there. So now you're going to go ahead and build that out, detailing the marketing of your L1s using the worksheet provided. Post those details inside of our forum for celebration as well as accountability. And if you want feedback on this, make sure to be scheduled at your monthly coaching or strategy clinic with me if you're in the pro level. And make sure you keep momentum by doing the next lesson within 48 hours of completing this one. And I will see you in the next training. Welcome back to Confidently. We are in building block 3, marketing your brand, and we're still beta testing your offers, but this is part 2, the L2 and the L3. Remember where we are in the Confidently success map, achieving progress, not perfection, to market and scale your expert-based business. And we're right here in beta testing your offers. So now we're going to take your tests, your use case, your What's Now offer, and run an L2 launch with your L1s as the lead-ins. So everything you've been doing up to this point is all culminating in this L2, L3 campaign sequence that we're going to put together. All right, there are 4 main tracks that you're going to be managing as we build your launch plan. And again, I'm teaching you this one part, and there's going to be more after this training, but I'm trying to give it to you in digestible bites so that you get stuff done daily or in a faster pace than normal, okay, so that you don't get overwhelmed. So there's more to come, but for now, here are the 4 main steps: planning, traffic, fulfillment, and closure. Under planning, you're going to want to allocate 2 to 4 weeks for planning your launch. And in fact, right now, you've been planning your launch with us by doing this work in Confidently. So on your actual campaign schedule, you're going to allocate 2 to 4 weeks. It's very important to have good runway time on the planning side. Then you're going to want to allocate between 7 and 21 days for testing traffic. Traffic is your organic, your paid, and your partnership traffic, which we're going to get more into later, but the ways that you're going to invite people to consume your offers, okay? Then fulfillment, you want to allocate time required for your your L2 or L3 execution. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when we're launching, what gets us overwhelmed and burnt out is that we don't build in time to our campaign schedule to actually create the program that we're offering. Because remember, I'm trying to teach you how to sell it before you finish it on purpose so that you don't waste time, energy, and money launching things that don't sell, but you still want to build it in so that you don't get overwhelmed while you're launching and then you have to jump into fulfillment. And then finally, closure and next steps, which is allocating 5 to 14 days to move people into your product delivery. So giving yourself space for the fulfillment to actually happen, okay? Now, big note here, please plan for more time than you think. Go ahead and double these timelines if you're still in the beginning stages, because everything's gonna take longer, okay? If you are creating your fulfillment as you go, make sure you build in that time for recovery and restoration, because launching and fulfilling can be a big lift. So don't ignore it, because you don't want to burn out and poop out before you finish the entire thing end to end. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see that a lot of newbie or people who are just not making 10K consistently a month fall into. They get overwhelmed quickly because there is a lot of pieces and parts to launching. But once you get the hang of it and do it consistently, it'll start to feel easier. Okay? So these are the now assets you need to build your launch out. You need a mind map. You need the actual schedule. You need to write emails, and those are definitely by themselves a lift, okay? And then you need engagement. So let me describe each of those sections for you. So first you need a mind map. And a mind map is simply a visual way for you to see the campaign from end to end. And it doesn't have to be in some fancy software. You can use Post-it notes and regular paper and markers if you want, okay? Because it's the visual interpretation and will be able for you to see visually how it's all going to go. And we're going to work on that, by the way, coming up. So don't stress over it. And also, if you have team members, like even if it's just a part-time helper to help you with technology and stuff, it helps them see what your plans are. Okay. It also becomes your priorities list, because the blocks of things that you have to work on, which is what a mind map does, helps you prioritize. Now, your schedule then hangs off of the mind map. So you're creating a schedule of to-dos that support each of those blocks of work on the mind map. And you want to estimate the number of days for tasks and assign actual dates to them, given some of the examples that I gave you in the last slide. And then you're going to want to plot this into your cash calendar or another launch planning system that you work with. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, emails. You're going to have 2 types of emails during your launch: promotional emails and fulfillment emails. And the days of your email drops should correspond with your schedule. Now, why are emails so important? Because the emails that you write are your asset versus like when you run Facebook ads, or let's say you have social posts on Instagram or in your Facebook groups that you manage. Those platforms are owned by another company. right? But your emails are owned by you. And that's why it's very important that you build out a good email campaign. And we're going to talk more about this again as we move through this marketing building block. And one thing I just want you to know upfront, don't be afraid to send multiple emails or reminders during your launches. People who are your ideal clients actually want them. They appreciate that you are giving them a heads up of things expiring and whatnot. So don't be shy during this time, and don't worry, you're getting support from your community here in Confidently. So this is one of the areas that I see people really don't press the accelerator on when they're doing their launch, and it's really important that you do that. And then finally, engagement, because there is no such thing as set it and forget it launching, okay? Your launch, for it to go well, you want to build in engagement strategies like doing live streams, maybe running a contest or an incentive, using hashtags and other cross promotions so that you can get engagement, people excited about your L1s and L2s, okay? And this step is what many converts announcing, like this is what allows you to convert the way that you communicate, rather, from an announcer to a launcher, because people don't buy announcements, they buy what you launch, okay? And it sets you up for a better chance at leveraging the hard work you did to drive traffic from your L1 and L2 launches, okay? So time to commit. First thing is pick your launch close date. I asked you to do this a couple lessons earlier, but now it's really time to commit it so that we can build a schedule around it. So what's the date you will close the entire launch? So meaning, when is the last day people can buy your service? And there is no, I don't want to hear the answer from you that says, oh, I want them to be able to buy it at any time, because no one will buy it. People need what we call authentic scarcity in order to purchase things. They need to be given a deadline or an incentive to purchase. So you will pick a close date based on the timelines that I just mentioned to you in this training, and just choose it so we can work your schedule around it. And there's going to be a bonus training called the Cash Calendar training in the portal. But since we're here right now, I want to walk you through how to create an initial cash calendar. There's going to be a lot more details that you put into it, but this is going to give you your start. So first, you're going to answer, how is it that you currently engage your audience and create new opportunities to discover your brand? We call those tell activities. So these are all kinds of ways that you could be telling people what you're up to, okay? A lot of them could be your actual L1, easy yeses or deep dives, okay? So you want to choose all the tell activities that you do, okay? So go ahead and put those and check those off, and check all of the ones that apply. And then we're going to layer those activities into a 30-day cash calendar template that is included in your worksheet or your portal, like this. So if you're looking at your cash calendar, you'll put the month at the top. And the tell activities are like, say you're going to do 3 Facebook Lives that are tell activities around your launch. And maybe you write a newsletter or blog once a week. So you're going to start out with that first, okay? Next, you're going to look at your delivery mechanisms, which we talked about in a previous training in this building block from your momentum map sequence. These are your sell activities, okay? And your sell activities are what supports your big goal of selling your L2 or L3. So you're going to add those in. If you can see this, I added them in green here. These are places that will actually sell your program or your L2 or L3, okay? And this is very high level right now, because really when you do your entire schedule, you're going to have to attach various tasks, to each of these days. But your task should hang off the days that you're telling or selling your L1s and L2s, okay? Then you're going to go to your 7-day slay, which is our process for managing our time, energy, and money during the week, so that you can only focus on those things. And you want to do this every week while you launch. So your goal right now is to create your cursory high-level cash calendar and choose your launch close date, okay? So declare your launch close date and take a photo or screenshot of your cash calendar and post it inside of the forum so you can be celebrated and for accountability. Check off this lesson on your Confidently Success map and make sure to do the next lesson within 48 hours of completing this one to stay in momentum. And I'll see you in the next training.